COVID-19 vaccines were made available to infants, toddlers, and preschoolers in the U.S. on Saturday. Children as young as 6 months of age will be able to receive the shots next week, expanding the nation's vaccination campaign. Dr. Rochelle Walensky, the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, approved the vaccine for the youngest children hours later. "We know millions of parents and caregivers are eager to get their young children vaccinated, and with today's decision, they can," Walensky said in a statement. While the Food and Drug Administration approves vaccines, it's the CDC that decides who should get them. The shots offer young children protection from hospitalization, death, and possible long-term complications that are still not clearly understood, the CDC's advisory panel said. Millions of doses have already been ordered for distribution to doctors, hospitals, and community health clinics in preparation for the vaccine expansion. Roughly 18 million kids will be eligible, but it remains to be seen how many will ultimately get the vaccines. Less than a third of children ages 5 to 11 have done so since vaccination opened up to them last November. Here are some things to know. What kinds are available? Two brands, Pfizer and Moderna, got the green light Friday from the FDA and Saturday from the CDC. The vaccines use the same technology but are being offered at different dose sizes and number of shots for the youngest kids. Pfizer's vaccine is for children 6 months to 4 years old. The dose is 1/10 of the adult dose, and 3 shots are needed. The first 2 are given 3 weeks apart, and the last at least 2 months later. Moderna's is 2 shots, each a quarter of its adult dose, given about 4 weeks apart for kids 6 months through 5 years old. The FDA also approved a third dose, at least a month after the second shot, for children with immune conditions that make them more vulnerable to serious illness. How well do they work? In studies, vaccinated youngsters developed levels of virus-fighting antibodies as strong as young adults, suggesting that the kid-sized doses protect against coronavirus infections. However, exactly how well they work is hard to pin down, especially when it comes to the Pfizer vaccine. 2 doses of Moderna appeared to be only about 40% effective at preventing milder infections at a time when the Omicron variant was causing most COVID-19 illnesses. Pfizer presented study information suggesting the company saw 80% with its 3 shots. But the Pfizer data was so limited and based on such a small number of cases that experts and federal officials say they don't feel there is a reliable estimate yet. Should my little one be vaccinated? Yes, according to the CDC. While COVID-19 has been the most dangerous for older adults, younger people, including children, can also get very sick. Hospitalizations surged during the Omicron wave. Since the start of the pandemic, about 480 children under age 5 are counted among the nation's more than 1 million COVID-19 deaths, according to federal data. It is worth vaccinating even though the number of deaths are relatively rare, because these deaths are preventable through vaccination, said Dr. Matthew Daly, a Kaiser Permanente Colorado researcher who sits on the CDC's advisory committee. In a statement Saturday, President Joe Biden urged parents to get them for their young children as soon as possible. Which vaccine should my child get? Either one, said Dr. Peter Marks, the FDA's vaccine chief. Whatever vaccine your healthcare provider, pediatrician has, that's what I would give my child, Marks said Friday. The doses haven't been tested against each other, so experts say there's no way to tell if one is better. One consideration, it takes roughly 3 months to complete the Pfizer 3-shot series, but just 1 month for Moderna's 2 shots. So families eager to get children protected quickly might want Moderna. Who's giving the shots? Pediatricians, other primary care physicians and children's hospitals are planning to provide the vaccines. Limited drugstores will offer them for at least some of the under 5 group. U.S. officials expect most shots to take place at pediatricians' offices. Many parents may be more comfortable getting the vaccine for their kids at their regular doctor, White House COVID-19 coordinator Dr. Ashish Jha said. He predicted the pace of vaccination will be far slower than it was for older populations. We're going to see vaccinations ramp up over weeks and even potentially over a couple of months, Jha said. Can children get other vaccines at the same time? During a doctor's appointment, little kids often receive several vaccines. As other vaccinations were not given at the same time as the Moderna and Pfizer shots in infants and toddlers, there are no data on potential side effects. But problems have not been identified in older children or adults when COVID-19 shots and other vaccinations were given together, and the CDC is advising that it's safe for younger children as well. What if my child recently had COVID-19? Approximately 3/4 of children of all ages have been infected. In order to reduce the chances of reinfection in older people, the CDC recommends vaccination anyway. Reinfections have been observed among previously infected people, but those who have been vaccinated and previously infected have the highest levels of protection. According to the CDC, people should wait about 3 months after an infection before getting vaccinated.